An American lady bought land in Ghana in hopes to create her own diaspora community, but a few people were not happy about it. Let's discuss. Hello there, my name is Janita Maaya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For more videos like this, please do subscribe. Thank you. So I was on X the other day and a statement caught my attention. It was titled, it was X'd, "Is this not segregation?" And I was just like, oh my God, why is the segregation happening in this day and age? And lo and behold, it was this lovely, cute lady who was putting up a TikTok video, and she's talking about how she's bought land in Ghana. She's hoping to create a diaspora community, and she's hoping to like sell the land in plots. I don't know if they're called them plots. And a few people were very enraged. So I said, you know what, let's bring it on here and let's discuss it. First, let us watch the video. So that's the video right there. Honestly, it's a very cute, harmless video. It's just a 1 minute. Someone just purchased land and they're going through the process of making the road. Because you know, sometimes when you do purchase the land, not every land that you purchase has a road leading up to it. So she's just being cute about it. She's like, we are, making the roads, we are measuring the plots, and she's encouraging people to safely purchase land at her website. It looks really harmless. It's the tweet above it. The tweet that actually dropped this video was from Sika Official, and he was saying a US-born woman now residing in Ghana is spearheading an initiative to create a diaspora community, having purchased a substantial tract of land. She plans to subdivide the property and offer plots for sale to individuals interested in joining the community. Full stop. Now, above it, Barbecue City is saying, this tweet is also coming up on the screen. Barbecue is saying, this is how segregation starts. If you don't want to live amongst the locals, then why come here? Now, I saw this and I said, you know what, let's discuss it. And I want to give you guys two perspectives. I want to give you guys the perspective of the Africans and also chime in on the perspective of the Americans. I will say the first thing, why are some Africans unhappy that this lady decided to buy land and she's going to subdivide it and create her little community? And some of them honestly do feel left out. The gentleman just said, like, why come to Africa if you're just going to, if you're going to keep to yourselves and segregate yourselves, right? There's like a fear of exclusion or a fear of missing out, like, oh, if you guys go that side, that's how you create like a whole estate where, it's inaccessible to the locals, and there's like some sort of classism going on where like the rich go one side, or the rich, obviously with the dollar currency in any other African country, you are considered rich, whether you like it or not. You are considered rich by the locals, right? So it's just a feeling of like, okay, you know what, they're going to do their own thing. They're not involved in what we're doing. That's how it's coming off to some Africans, and that's how some of them are digesting it. So that's where is it called FOMO, the fear of missing out, is coming from for some of them. And others feel like, oh, we already have some sort of classism going on, where it's like the rich are rich and the poor and the poor. And then here comes another group, which is like, yeah, well, not all of them are like well off or whatnot, but they have the means to sort of create their own community, and people feel excluded. So there is that. Not trying to justify any party or trying to create some sort of division. I'm just giving you my opinion as is. Now, the other thing that I also do see is the gentrification. Now, when you go online, obviously, let's define gentrification. Now, gentrification may be a new word for some people. That's why I'm trying to explain it. If you know it, just stick around. So gentrification is a process where a once lower income neighborhood or area experiences an influx of more affluent people leading to rising property values and rent. This often there's so much you understand what's happening. It's like an area which was affordable one time is now all of a sudden unaffordable. It's now getting expensive. The areas are getting expensive. The infrastructure is now more being centered towards the people with the money. People are coming in with the dollars. The coffee shops are pricing their coffee highly, or the restaurants are now kind of gearing everything towards this the more affluent people that are coming in, right? I mean, at the end of the day, business is business. So you can understand where a business will see an opportunity and say, this is my opportunity for me to do something. Of course, and you also have to appeal to the market, to the people that are there, right? So in a huge number of people occupying a certain area, of course, there's certain things that change. People get displaced. The cost of living gets high and people honestly get frustrated. Whereas you see land that used to be, let's say 1 million is now, I'm saying no land is okay. Land that used to be 1 million is now like 5 million and whatnot. So you'll see an increase in prices. You see an increase in that particular area, whereby in the end it pushes out the locals, and not everyone can afford to be in certain areas like that. I'll give South Africa as an example, because everyone that I know has complained about Cape Town. Cape Town has been gentrified. It has become so expensive. It's no longer appealing to a normal South African, to a local. You can't just be going to Cape Town. What are you doing in Cape Town? Everything is expensive. The housing is expensive and things are getting tough. I saw this video from a lady who I love. I used to watch on YouTube. Well, still do, but I used to watch her vlogs when I was still in university, and she was complaining about what's happening in Cape Town. So countries like South Africa are having that issue, but it does happen everywhere. Now, stick with me. This is not to say that rich people are not driving up prices in certain areas. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you that certain areas can be affordable, but when certain people with a higher currency move to said area, and it's a number of them, then they will drive up certain things, making the cost of living high. Watch this.
Stop it, guys. I need you guys to stop it. Stop right now. Stop coming to South Africa. No, I'm being serious. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with the fact that you guys are realizing that South Africa is a beautiful country and we have a lot of cheap shit. But the problem with you guys coming here is that everything is getting expensive. Every single second TikTok, an American is here. Someone's going to the safari. Everything's becoming expensive. Nando's cost $600 for a full chicken. This is all your fault. And stop saying everything is cheap. Things is not cheap for us. Nizweni. I mean, already we gave you Amapiano. We gave Amapiano to the world. Don't bring the world to us. This is exactly why Drake was hiding his child from the world, because you guys always want to be up in our business. Talking about how beautiful Cape Town is. This is all amazing. Do you know that I can't afford to go to Cape Town because of you? Yes, I'm talking to you, Shelly. Stop saying how beautiful Cape Town is and how cheap it is, because I can't even afford to go to Camps Bay. Okay? I need to save up for that shit now. Thanks to you. I'm really not trying to be mean. I'm really not trying to be lean. I love you guys so much. I know a lot's going on. I know South Africa is beautiful and we've got lots of animals. But please, guys, please stop coming here. Just for now. Just tone it down. Cyril, switch off the electricity. Pick up the load shedding. Do something. Do anything. But don't come here.
So you can see that clip. Like I say, it's from Naledi, and she was saying when she made a statement when people travel to these African countries, oh my God, things are cheap. Well, things are cheap for you because you have a strong currency. When you convert your currency to that African country's currency that you're in, let's say shillings for Uganda, you're rich. If you give me $100, friend, I am rich in my shillings. Okay, right? So sometimes something for you, see, $30 to an American is nothing, right? You pay that. But I'm going to think about those $30. Why am I paying $100K? $30 is $100K, more or less, in UGX. It's why am I paying that? You understand? What could come with ease for you may be difficult for the locals. So you see why certain people are not happy about certain things. I'm trying to give you guys the story. Now, she's talking about how she can't even afford to go to Camps Bay because she has to save up for things like that. And it's happening to most people when they can't enjoy certain things in their country because they've been gentrified. So now they have to save up a huge chunk of money to be able to access them. we're looking at Uganda as an example, and I will say that domestic tourism is not that popular. Do you know why domestic tourism is not that popular? Because most tourist spots catered to foreigners. That means they charge in dollars, mind you. By the way, they will charge you in dollars as a foreigner, and then they'll charge the citizen in their currency, right? So it's just like, if you're making these places hard to access for the locals, then what's going to happen at the end of the day? Now, those are things that are happening qua ground, okay? And we also look at the other bit. I did a whole video about, sorry, forgive me, I titled it "Are African Americans the New Colonizers?" And people were not happy about that video. They were not happy about that video. And I will say the title was in poor taste. I will say that the title is in poor taste. But the gist of the episode was different from what the title was saying. I just kind of wanted to show people that, you know, you can say one thing and then the other thing. Anyway, what am I trying to get at? The people who feel like if a huge number of people just come up and buy the land, then it brings up those wounds of colonialism or like colonial echoes or something like that. You know, it like takes people to the past, like, oh my God, if they're buying up all this land, does that mean we could go back to the old days? Does that mean like we will get displaced? What does that mean for our grandkids? What does that mean for the generation coming after us? So I think when you see certain things like that, it's very easy to be quick to jump to a conclusion like, oh, but why do they think like that? Oh, but we have da. Oh, but we can. Just take a step back and see it from that point of view. That's why I said, let me do this video and give people both points of views. You know, let me give you an African's views and let you know what people are thinking, right? And there's also like some sort of so sometimes there's no communication between the locals and the people who come to buy the land or come to create their own community, right? So there's no communication between the two, and then it gives off this whole, you know, they're divided, they're segregated. You know, before such big investments happen, you'd think that maybe there's like some sort of going into the village, speaking to the people, telling them of the plans, what we're doing, this is how it will benefit you. So, you know, do not be afraid of the investment that's coming in. Some people miss that step in investments, and I feel like that's a very crucial step. I know of a certain gentleman who owns half a village. Now that I'm saying it, it's funny, but he genuinely owns half a village. Like, he bought up land, he bought everyone. But when he bought those people that he was buying land from, he was making sure they were not like just bought off. He was making sure that they were relocated, or he was making sure they had access to somewhere else they were staying. And then he made sure that his investment was providing jobs and helping the community. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just doing this for me. No, he said, hey, this is what I'm doing it on a large scale. This is how you can benefit. But I would also like to expand my business, give you extra money so that you can give me your land, and I'll make sure you're well taken care of. So things like that are also important in this part of the world, and I feel like that is something that people also tend to miss when they're doing business on the continent. You know, I do want to read for you some other I guess this is a tweet by a lady. She was saying they go to Ghana with their guns, illegally acquire the land, and violently displace the local communities. All this to build their Pan-African village and live in a fantasy of Africa they have cooked up. The communities have literally said they're being hunted from their land. Pause, right? No, like the first element of they go to Ghana with their guns illegally. I don't think anyone is forcefully evicting people off their land. I don't think that would be allowed. I don't think Ghana itself, I do believe Ghana actually has quite a competent government. I don't think they would be allowing the locals to be chased off their land with guns or illegally at that. What I do believe is that I do know that they're being bought off. That's for sure. I know that they're being bought off. Now, them illegally chasing the people, now that's where it's wrong. You know, with this tweet there's a picture, or there's another tweet, and she was saying, Daniel Kweku, a 44-year-old farmer in the family, says when they discovered that the new residents in the village were still building on their land despite the court order, they were incensed. They confronted workers on the construction site, showed them the injunction and ordered them to stop building. When the police arrived, it was Kweku and the two other members that were arrested. They were released with no charges. Since they are released, the tensions have only deepened. Like, obviously, there are land wrangles that are obviously happening in Ghana that we may not know about, or we may know about, and things like that do happen. Even here, the land wrangles, like land disputes, man, land disputes are serious. Like, people be taking land issues very serious. That's for one. Now, the lady here is entitled to her own opinion. I didn't particularly like her statement when she said they're Pan-African village. She's maybe trying to mock them, because there are people out there who genuinely have so much faith and so much love for Africa, and they have dreams of building something of their own. The problem is them segregating the locals. Now that's where it comes in. But if someone wants to live in their bubble, then just let them. If they're not hurting anyone, let them live in their bubble. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst that can happen is that they'll segregate themselves, but we're hoping that is not what will happen. Now, let's switch the coin, or let's switch the switch and let's flip the coin. English. Now, from the African American perspective, I think I went into detail when I made that video about the Kayleys in Africa. I think that should have been my part 2, but I'll still talk about it. I do believe that after so many generations, after the trauma that some African Americans have endured, some may be pushed to the motherland to connect with their roots, to connect with the people on the ground. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do believe that some want to build communities where they feel safe, where they feel like they're with our fellow people, where they feel trusted, where they're not going through the microaggressions, the racism, the police stops and whatnot. Like, I do believe that people out there who want to do that. So as an African, if you see something like, maybe an African American buying land, I don't think the first reaction should be, oh my God, but they're segregating themselves. Oh my God, they're keeping to themselves. No, I think you all to have some sort of empathy and see it that people want to feel connected to something. So let them feel connected to something. Let them. Don't just try to bust their bubble and say, oh my God, but your dreams are invalid. Or, it's just like, no, if they want to feel safe and if they want to feel connected to the motherland, then why not? Obviously, some people have not gone through that. When you have that feeling of you need to belong, or you need to be somewhere, but then the somewhere is not connecting with you. There's the whole discord. It does happen, and that's not to say that it's a bad thing per se. It's not a bad thing. Like, let people go where they feel loved and welcomed. Don't look at it otherwise. The other thing can be a generational wealth. Obviously, when you buy land, it can stay in your generations unless your grandkids decide to do that big one and sell the land. But ideally, when you look at land, you look at generational wealth, and you can see the smile on this lady's face. She's smiling because she knows that, hey, by me buying this land, I make sure that people in our family are sorted. I make sure that I have something at the end of the day. They own a little piece of land somewhere, and there's nothing wrong with that, because you have to keep the legacy going. You have to keep the generation going, right? And you do know that some of them look at returning to Africa as returning to their ancestral land. It's not like a displacement. It's more of like the returning to their land, not as outsiders but as family. Point something wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with that. People want to feel loved. People want to feel welcome. So you just let them be. You just let them feel loved. You just let them feel welcomed, and it's all kumbaya. It is well, my friend. Now, that aside, I do want you guys to watch this clip of this gentleman who had his 5 reasons on why he decided to move to Africa. And let's not hate on people who are seeking something bigger than them. A calling, if you want to call it that. Okay? Let's embrace it. We're all about peace and love. It's okay. Okay?
Sense of belonging. It is amazing being in a place where everybody looks like you. You're never the only black person. And it is just a beautiful and encouraging experience. 2, safety. Many of the countries in Africa, I'm in Tanzania, are significantly safer than the United States when you check the rankings. And you never have to worry about any sort of racist anti-black violence against you. 3, challenging white supremacy. It is a game changer when you can show that it is possible to thrive in the world outside of westernized systems. 4, learning from African perspectives and experiences. So much of what we see, even those of us who call ourselves very pro-black, are still very westernized when we're from the Western world. When you move to Africa, you get to actually learn the indigenous ways of being from the continent. And 5, learning to love yourself as a black person in deeper and more powerful ways. So much of what we get, again, living in the West, we're brainwashed to believe that blackness is less than and that we have to fight to show and prove our value and worth. When you are in Africa, it is just evidence and it is just a normal part of living life. Amazing and peaceful to the spirit. Look, I acknowledge that it is not easy for everybody and the finances and all the details, logistics. Look, I know, I get it. But for those of you who are able to dream, to be able to build the game plan, figure out new ways of being, I encourage you, put it on your list to at least visit.
I believe the gentleman right there has given you all the reasons why some African Americans feel like they should move to Africa. There's nothing wrong with that. We can all win. Let's stop this crab in a barrel mentality, like trying to pull the other person down. We're all one, we're all black, we're all Africans. Well, not all. Some people will say, no, I'm not African. Okay, at the end of the day, we're all black. Yeah, we're all black. Yeah, there's that. We're all black. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this topic. These were just my texts on it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear from you and, do a little go back and forth with you. And yeah, guys, if you like this video, please subscribe, like, comment, share, turn on the bell for notifications, do all the nice things, support the channel. There's much that we have. Look at my website, johnnytamaya.com. I offer so many services on there. If you're looking to relocate to Uganda, I am your person. I am your go-to person in order to avoid scams and whatnot. I basically help point you in the right direction so that you're not taken advantage of. And yeah, follow me on all my social media pages at Johnny Tamaya. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.